This is a summary of the first phase of Tess of the D'Urbervilles for my higher class. This is set as homework, which is due in tomorrow, so hopefully if you've not already done it, this will be of some use, and for revision purposes later on, maybe this will be useful as well. So Tess of the D'Urbervilles is set in the fictional county of Wessex, in an area that roughly takes in 4 or 5 real counties in the southwest of England. There's a map at the start of the book, and I'm sure there are plenty of resources online if you want to explore the crossover between the real and the fictional places in the text. Tess is the eldest daughter of John and Joan Durbeyfield, who are humble and very poor, impoverished rural workers in Wessex. The novel begins with the local parson, Parson Tringham, informing John when John is on his way home one day. John is a little bit drunk on that occasion. The parson informs him that his family is descended from the noble d'Urberville family, a Norman family from the Norman conquest. The family's now extinct, but the idea of having a noble heritage provokes these delusions of grandeur in John. He immediately starts to think that he's better than he actually is. On the same day, Tess, in another part of the town, is taking part in the village May dance. And a May dance is a pagan celebration. It's interesting to note there that we have these pagan traditions that run alongside a lot of the Christian traditions, as the novel will explore later. And at the dance, there are 3 young lads who pass by, and Tess, her eyes meet one of these young men, and although they don't dance with each other, there's a clear connection between them. The young man in question does dance with several of the other girls, but not Tess, and she's left feeling slightly rejected by him. Meanwhile, Tess's dad proceeds to get drunk in celebration of his newfound nobility, but sadly he gets so drunk that he is not able to take the family's beehives to the market overnight, and reluctantly Tess agrees to go in his place. Disaster strikes when Tess and her brother both fall asleep on the cart, and their horse, Prince, is struck by another wagon and the horse is killed. Tess is completely overwhelmed with guilt, and she feels that the accident is entirely her fault. Symbolically in this scene, we see the red blood of the horse spread over her white dress, and this is a clear symbolism of some of the events to come. Playing on Tess's guilt and a sense that she should do something to provide an income for the family, Tess's mother coerces her to visit the nearby D'Urberville estate to seek work and, as she says, to claim kin. None of the Durbeyfields is aware that Mrs. D'Urberville's husband had bought the title and their original name had been Stokes, and they're not at all related to Tess's family. Upon visiting, Tess doesn't get to meet Mrs. D'Urberville, but her son Alec immediately takes a shine to her and tries to seduce her. He gets her a job looking after poultry on the estate, but his real intentions towards Tess are hardly concealed. Tess repeatedly knocks Alec back, but he persists, and she feels trapped in a situation where she's unable to quit work because she needs to provide money for her family, but she has to put up with the manoeuvres of Alec as well. It's her guilt over the death of Prince that keeps her in that situation. In addition to this, throughout, Tess comes across as a very naive young girl, and she's never entirely sure of what Alec is after. She's not familiar with the sexual threat that men pose to young girls. Anyway, after a night out in Trantridge with some of her co-workers, Tess accidentally incurs the wrath of one of the older women, and a fight is about to break out, but Tess is rescued by Alec, who is coincidentally passing by on his horse. She's faced with either a fist fight or a means of escape with Alec, and she accepts Alec's offer. However, he doesn't take her home. He simply rides through the fog to a forested area called the Chase. Alec tells Tess that he's lost, and he goes off to find his bearings, and in his absence Tess falls asleep on the ground while she's waiting for him. When he returns, he rapes Tess, or seduces her, depending on how you read the passage. There are different schools of thought on this idea. And after this, she is considered to be a maiden no more. The opening section introduces the reader to all three protagonists and the key themes of love, guilt, heritage, and fate. We also see themes and symbols in the natural world and Hardy's use of colour to denote sin, sexuality, and blood. I will put up another one of these for the second phase before the end of next week. Hope it was useful. Thank you.